After last season, New York Giants were a team that all of us were excited about as Giants fans. After the last 10 years of unbridled misery, disappointment, one trip to the playoffs only to get obliterated by Green Bay, and culminated ultimately with a 3rd down and 9 QB sneak in the second quarter on their own 4-yard line against Washington. Last year was an absolute breath of fresh air for all Giant Nation. Getting to the playoffs for the first time since forever, winning a playoff game for the first time since the Super Bowl over 10 years back. So we went into last night with a lot of excitement, a lot of hope. Home opener, Sunday night, Cowboys, Giants. What else could you ask for except for your team to actually show the hell up? The Giants were good for most of the opening drive and then just decided, you know what? I think we're going to take a break here. Right off the bat,
done.
Dude, Daniel Jones right off the bat. I mean, he had some good runs there. They were driving down, and then all of a sudden, one false start, bad snap, blocked field goal from 44-yard field goal, I think, or so. It was blocked, and then it was just like, Kyle. 2 things. 1, what thoughts do you have? And 2, are you concerned at all about this one game?
Well, it definitely helps that I'm not a big Giants fan, being that I was more of a Peyton and Eli Manning fan than anything else. So it's like I rooted for the Giants when Eli was there.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much with old Danny Boy here. But thing is, my thoughts are this. Daniel Jones got paid basically top 5 QB money, and he is not a top 5 QB. So the fact that he got that absurd contract was terrible, because it's like I said, he's getting paid top quarterback money when he is not nearly a top quarterback. He just happened to be one of the best or the second best quarterback available in free agency that year. So in this offseason. So having Daniel Jones getting paid an absurd amount, and well, yeah, he is still only 26. He still has some years left in him. It was not a good deal in my opinion from the get-go. So, but yeah, there are people that are being paid a lot more, but it's like but those are like the names of like Patrick Mahomes, of Josh Allen,
Jalen Hurts. I mean, people that have the resume there.
Hurts doesn't have the resume yet.
Hurts
was a big one too, but he has better legs than Danny Jones does.
Here's what I'll say though: Jalen Hurts, I think you have greater trust in than Daniel Jones. He got the team to a Super Bowl last year. By all accounts, they very easily could have won that Super Bowl. So there's a lot with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to be excited about. Even Dak Prescott to a degree.
Yeah.
But then you have Daniel Jones, who there's a lot of questions about whether or not he's just average at $40 million a year.
Well, yes. But here's the thing: it's like he's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a good one either. But he's getting paid like he is a good or better quarterback. But I digress. I've seen worse contracts. Yes, absolutely. You lock down someone so you don't necessarily need to deal with any QB issues for the next few years. But yeah, so problems definitely start with him. But the other thing is he doesn't really have any wide receivers to throw to. Like, who did they get? Did they get anyone in the draft? Did they trade for anyone like good?
No,
in the offseason for him to throw to? It's like, yeah, there are players, like I said, there are quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes that can do something with garbage. But even then, there is a certain level of garbage that even Mahomes can't recover from, as we saw on Thursday night. But it's like, so it's like
when Tony was trolling the Giants the other night. No,
exactly. So it's like, well, Tony needs to. He needs to learn not to throw. He needs to learn not to throw stones in glass houses, especially with his cement hands.
True.
So yeah. Out of all the people to be mocking the Giants, he ain't the one.
Yeah.
But I digress. The Giants don't have anyone that they can that Jones can throw to. So if Mahomes fails when you have garbage receivers, what do you think is going to happen to someone who is not Patrick Mahomes?
Mhm.
When you have someone of the caliber of Daniel Jones going, you throw bad receivers with him, it's going to be an utter disaster. So you're basically still going to be relying on Barkley,
Mhm.
who is absolutely disgruntled right now. So it's like, yeah, he's probably going to still try to play as well to get a better, to basically market himself better
Mhm.
for when he inevitably leaves next in the offseason. But because after what happened this offseason, I don't think he's going to be wanting to come back.
Chris Collinsworth talked about the fact that Barkley was unprepared for the, what do you call it? I think the professional side of the business side of
Mm-hmm.
the NFL.
Absolutely.
You
But
know,
that being said, it's like, yeah, you still have Barkley, but when you're down 40 nothing in the fourth quarter,
yeah.
there ain't nothing that he can do either, especially in the run game. The run game is mainly for when you're close to leading or in
Mhm.
the lead. You're not going to be coming back from a massive deficit through your running backs. You're going to be doing it with your wide receivers.
Exactly.
And Giants don't got that. Giants
And obviously,
do not have anyone to throw to. And that's the worst part about it. So yeah, you knew that I knew that this opening day was going to be rough,
Mhm.
and you basically just had to rely on the Dallas Cowboys choking on their own foot. So it's, which has happened and does happen still,
But not
but
until January.
yes. So it's like when you get early season Cowboys coming at it,
Yeah.
it's a recipe for disaster. And so the Giants faithful basically got to have nice front row seats to an utter shellacking.
Dude, fans were leaving at halftime.
Unsurprisingly
Mhm.
and deservedly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when your team plays like that and you're down to such a point that it would be a historical comeback, you're either going to stick around until the historical comeback becomes an impossible comeback, or you're going to try to beat the traffic. And as we know, around the stadium there, traffic ain't fun.
It is not.
So so
I used
it's,
to live like one town over, and it was nasty because it's
yep,
all spills onto Route 3.
yep. And here's the thing. Because of a game like this, instead of having the normal traffic at the end of a game, you had traffic for even longer
And in the
because it
rain,
was
too.
even worse in the weather.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah. It'll be, yeah, it's,
yeah, this was a historically bad opening night for the Giants, a historically bad night for the Giants in the Giants Dallas rivalry, and it is not looking good in the future unless some players remember that they're NFL football players, and or they make a move,
mhm.
or we could kind of chalk this one up to a lost season already because they don't have the pieces needed for a Daniel Jones to succeed. And when Jones doesn't succeed, you're going to have a bad season because he's the
Mhm.
center of your offense.
And in this case, also, I mean, part of the problem is also stems back from Gettleman because the Giants have no cap space. They won't have any cap space till
Nope.
next year. So this is, I'm not going to say this is a garbage year or a year to play for the draft, but it's a year where you can't expect what last year was.
Yes.
Last year was a Cinderella feel good year. This year is not going to be that. So
You
you
have the
look,
higher expectations this year
have
now,
higher expectations,
especially with the signing.
tougher schedule, but they had so many one score wins last year. Everything went
Mm-hmm.
right down to the wire, so tight. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier is the Giants are so run heavy between Jones and Barkley that if you fall behind early, you cannot play the run game. You
Mm-hmm.
have to go to the pass. And what are you going to do? Screen passes to Barkley and Frida? You have.
No, it's like, yeah, you still have the ghost of Sterling Shepard out there,
Mhm.
but it's like, who else do they got?
Yeah.
They don't have anybody.
I think next year, like I said, I think will be better on two fronts. I think next year will be better because obviously they will have money to spend. And
Yeah.
additionally, in some weird way, it's going to be a borderline contract year for Daniel Jones. Because if he fails,
Right.
they can release him after next year. So
Right.
he's playing for that other $80 million right there.
Mm-hmm.
So you might see a little bit of Daniel Jones. I mean, listen, last year Daniel Jones only threw 5 picks, but he also only threw 15 touchdowns. So it's not like he was crushing the numbers there,
No.
but
but everyone else
Mm.
was playing really, really well.
Everybody,
And
everybody gelled from week one.
yeah, and it's like from like there's a graphic that I think that I saw earlier that was like that no team has ever lost 40 nothing or worse, lost the sack battle 7-0 or worse,
Yes. Oh
lost
yeah.
the turnover battle
Hmm.
3-0 or worse, had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown, or threw a pick six in the same season.
Yeah.
The Giants did all of that in one game.
We're number one. But
This was a historically bad performance.
and on national TV on a Sunday night, so it's not like you can get swallowed up by all the other games there.
It
This is
was the
week one
premiere.
Sunday night. This is Tarico and Collinsworth. This is NBC.
Hmm.
This is two of the most storied, historically well-known franchises out there,
It was
and a rivalry
yeah,
that goes back decades upon decades.
yeah. It was
And
a big game. It
yeah,
had everything going for it, and the Giants put up a stinker.
the worst Giants home loss ever was 45-0 back in 1948 to the Eagles. It was a season. It was a season that they went 4-8. They beat the Boston Yankees twice, or the Boston Yanks twice. So you're really dating
Yeah,
yourselves on that one. But yeah, they
there's
lost.
a date right there.
Yeah, 45-0 on that. They lost 40 here, nothing here. So it was entirely possible they could have had the worst home loss in their entire team history. This is, however, the worst home, week one loss in the 21st century. So in 23 years, this is the worst one that's actually happened. So, again, good job, Giants Nation.
Just think, the 0-18 Detroit team
Hmm.
did not play this bad.
No, they did not. But I mean, here's the funny thing: Dak only had 143 yards passing.
He didn't
He
he
didn't need
literally
to. He didn't need to.
I was gonna say it's like after the first or second quarter, they could have benched him for the rest of the game and been fine.
I'm looking at the stats right now on ESPN. Daniel
There was
Jones had a
nothing.
quarterback rating of 32.4. Tyrod Taylor in two passes had a quarterback rating of 79.2. two completed passes for a total of 6 yards.
No, this was bad.
Oh yeah.
This
I
was
mean,
bad, and unfortunately, I think it is a sign of things to come unless something changes.
it may very well be, but at the same time, I'm so used to watching misery with this team that the one year we had was okay. You get some hope to the future kind of thing. Sheen and Dable did enough to be like, okay, there's a reason to get excited by this. I am not overly broken up by one loss. I am not
Yeah,
even really broken up. If they go 5-12 this season, I'm not going to be that bothered by it because again, you got a crap cap situation here. So you will be better next
still.
year because again, that pedigree is all Buffalo Bills. So any free agents are going to see future Buffalo Bills here. So you can entice a lot of people. A lot of players can be enticed to come over despite everything because of what Sheen and Dable bring to the table and have brought to the table. So this year, next year, we'll see what happens.
It's and yes, as you said, there are a lot more games to go.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not what you want to start. You don't want to start with historically bad. And who knows? Maybe this is just a precursor to maybe this was just the needed wake up call.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? There's still a lot of season to go. It's only the first week. It's just not what you want to start with.
And also the fact that Graham Gano just signed a brand new contract and went 0 for 2 in field goals. One was the block, I give you that, but
Yeah, one was blocked and then he misses the other one. But then again, they're only able to give him 2 attempts.
yeah.
2 attempts out of that whole game.
Hey, my opponent in fantasy league has Graham Gano as a kicker. I won this.
Oh, I bet you were happy. Yeah,
it's
my
pretty
team is
extraordinary.
painfully average.
He had to hit like 30 points in order to actually win, but still, it was one of those things that it's like, silver lining ish, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough.
Even if this season is shit, I still have hope for the future.